Hi, this is Matthew Taylor, and welcome to my portfolio. Today we're going to be looking over my portfolio, which can be found at matttaylorlaw.wordpress.com. When you get to the site, you are brought to this home page, and you see my title here, Matthew Taylor's Portfolio, and 10 Years of Esports Excellence as the subtitle. I've been in the esports field since 2009, so I believe in middle of February, it marked 10 years, so I wanted to include that so I can stand out against the competition in the job market. So here's the homepage. It starts welcome, and then you've got this nice little picture here, and this entire website reads like a narrative. So just to start off the first paragraph, this is me, Matthew Taylor, Matt Taylor Law, Taylor on your far left, right here. I pointed to the screen. On your far left with the Maryville University Overwatch team, where I served as head coach. From the ground up, I helped build an international program with a national tournament win. After college, my aim is to stay in the gaming industry, and will use this portfolio to show some of my most notable successes. This is my team here. You get to see them later on this tab called Collegiate Overwatch Coach, but it starts off with Maryville University's Esports Analyst. This here is a picture of our team winning a national championship in 2017 for League of Legends. This took place in LA. I start the narrative here. In 2016, I was asked by the esports director at Maryville University if I would be interested in coming to Maryville to help him build a championship-worthy program. I came on as coach, but I had various responsibilities analyzing the business side of the program. Many people in traditional esports try to push similar training schedules towards their esports teams, and while there are similarities, there are notable differences. One of my jobs is working with potential sponsors that might seem appealing to a baseball team, like cryotherapy and massage studios, but which are not necessary for esports athletes. However, yoga instructors, sports psychologists, and team building retreats are beneficial in both fields. Explaining the benefits of certain partnerships to traditional sports directors helps make sure we stayed on track with our budget throughout the year. In budgeting also came apparel and travel. Esports athletes are typically confined to a chair for 3 to 5 hours at a time and value comfort over flexibility in their jerseys. Finding the right material that also looks professional enough for the school to be proud to see their brand on was an important task I had to face. We also constantly got invited to tournaments, as we were the team that everyone wanted to beat. Determining which events were worth it to travel to was one of my jobs. I had to figure out potential Twitch viewership, cost of the trip, and analyze the benefit of the trip versus an extra weekend's practice before a big match. When the boys were away, and if I wasn't traveling with them, I was organizing events back at home. We had an esports club filled with junior varsity teams, fans of the varsity team, and fans of professional level esports teams. This wide variety of people meant I had to plan events with aspects for all levels of entertainment and all levels of knowledge in esports. We had some of the most visited events on campus and used this opportunity to raise money for local charities like Kids Rock Cancer or money for the program. These events were featured on social media and school publication, which helps reach alumni and fans' ears. As a student, I was able to take part in Maryville's Paw Print publication, where I did Twitch-streamed interviews about collegiate esports, which is now being used to help persuade parents who are still questioning the validity of a college scholarship for gaming. I'm going to show you what these interviews looked like. We were playing games,
we'll talk more about the interviews.
And I am interviewing Joshua Beckley's Quest, who is a popular commentator or sports broadcaster for esports. So he's a big name that some of the students may know coming into college. I thought that was a really nice piece to include here. And then this next page is called Professional League of Legends Coach. And here we have an image of us lifting the trophy at Midwest Campus Clash, which took place in April of 2018. I'll never forget waking up at 3 a.m. in 2004 to watch esports on TV. The Korean StarCraft finals were being broadcast in real time, and from that point on, I was hooked. As Americans started to compete and travel over to Korea, I took every chance I could to study the game more and more. And in 2009, I was good enough that our best players would have me help them warm up before matches. This was my first step in the coaching world. In 2012, many StarCraft players transitioned into the League of Legends world as there was far more money to be made in the game. In 2014, I felt I had learned enough about the game to help benefit a team and applied to Australian organization Tainted Minds in a volunteer head coaching position. At Tainted Minds, I had my first taste at playoffs in the Australian Developmental League. We won those playoffs and moved on to the Professional League, where I brought our roster to a comfortable 5th place finish, keeping them out of relegation. However, due to us not being in relegation, that meant former 4th place team Sin Gaming was now in 7th place and would have to face the top two developmental teams to keep their spot. Sin was looking for any help that they could get and reached out to me with a generous salary. I took the offer and brought the roster from the bottom seed to 3rd place in what most people refer to as the strongest year in Australian esports history. With that 3rd place run, we qualified for an international tournament in which my team became famous for our quick wit and innovations. After this tournament, I got picked up by Maryville University and brought their new roster to a division championship, and we won that year's invitational tournament, at which we were the best team in collegiate during the time of my coaching staff. With my success, I was asked to help develop the program as they were bringing on a new team and prepare for graduating students. This brings us to Collegiate Overwatch Coach. And this image is us lifting the trophy at the Harrisburg University Esports Festival in October of 2018. Following my success with our League of Legends program, I was invited to develop our school's Overwatch program from the ground up. As the only staff member, I was given an amount of people I was allowed to bring on and had to decide on how many other staff members I needed and how many slots were needed for substitute players. Recruitment took place through social media, and forms needed to be created with intentions not only in esports but towards school. We wanted students who would win champions and also graduate. After narrowing down the competition to people eligible for college in the United States, we started our trial process. We had scrimmages amongst our recruits and pit our recruits against established teams. With all of these results in hand, as well as detailed personal interviews, we established our roster and staff. From day one, we had to work on our players' social media presence and demeanor. All eyes were on us on collegiate esports, and our boys needed to be professional men who had represented our school in a positive light. We had to establish rules of conduct both in-game and in real life, as well as mandated grades and study sessions. Academic success and competitive success needed to come hand in hand in order for the program to continue. After getting our international students acclimated to the United States and college-level classes in their second language, the next biggest challenge was establishing a practice schedule. In professional-level esports, some teams will practice as much as 8 hours a day, which simply isn't feasible as full-time students. Making flexible practice schedules and only scheduling scrimmages during after-school hours was a bit difficult, but worked out. We created the winningest team in collegiate history, not losing a single game in our way to playoffs. We were invited to an invitational tournament with other tournament favorites and cruised through it to a win. I was able to apply things I had learned with the League of Legends team to make sure I did not repeat any mistakes. And I believe we will win the national championship this year. The final page is called My Academics and Esports History, and you have me here with a Maryville University t-shirt in front of what is our cafeteria and the Maryville University sign. This is the day I found out I would be on a full scholarship, and I was very excited, and my mother had to take this picture. At Maryville University, I am graduating in May of 2019 with a history degree. I have mixed my knowledge of esports with an understanding of history to create strategies for business to succeed in this emerging market. With esports becoming the second most watched sport in the United States, it's a market all companies should have their radar for advertising and investing. In my paper titled, I believe I'm going to end up titling it the Mecca of Esports, St. Louis. I haven't 100% decided. This paper is going to be published on May 1st on Maryville Hall Print, and I will include a link in this video to this paper. I cover a brief history for a business looking to enter the field, including strategies which tried and failed in the past. As a historian, I've been able to apply my knowledge of esports to this new and emerging field. I have worked on applying traditional business ethics to a technology-based field. I'm working on papers detailing the history of esports in the Midwest. I'm also working on a substance abuse in esports paper and working on ways to combat it. On one of my term papers, I'm working on communication in esports, which esports is a very fast-paced environment where players need to be able to communicate over the sound of gunfire in the most efficient way possible. So I'm studying ancient languages, new languages, and in very popular languages in what they find difficult and what they find easy about shrinking phrases, making slang terms, making whatever it may be to communicate your ideas in the fastest way possible. And then I'm trying to use that in order to shrink the communication used and needed in esports. I have a review of an article on a player in which I hope to teach people what kind of players are marketable. I have the history of esports in St. Louis and why it was a great location for the esports finals of League of Legends to be in this year. And I have a review of my statistics, which is pretty much what I would do on a daily basis when working for a professional team, and how I would present my information, showing that I have the skills needed to work in a professional business setting and reach deadlines and write in a educational format. I'm not 100% sure what word I was looking for there, but I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video and checking out my portfolio. Have a wonderful day.